Well, we definitely want to welcome each and every one of you here, especially this time of the year. 'Tis the holiday season, and interesting that the holidays are on a Wednesday of last week, and of course Wednesday again this week. Of course, tomorrow night is New Year's Eve for us here in the United States. I don't know. I know New Year's Eve is celebrated all around the world in different forms and fashions, and so however you all are going to celebrate tomorrow night, that'll be great. We celebrate it here at our house. We don't get out on New Year's Eve anymore. Here in Oklahoma, it's kind of interesting because the police are out in force on these days, and so we know where all the traps are. And so we're not going to go out and celebrate. We'll celebrate right here. I don't know about you guys.
Yep, same.
So one of the things before we get started, if you are brand new and have never been to one of our business Zooms, and of course we haven't done a business Zoom in a while, so that could hold true for a lot of folks. But if you are a guest as well, give us a 1. Give Gary and Lou and Bob a 1 if you are a guest or this is your first live Zoom with us. Farid, okay. I saw some names. Don't be shy, because I saw some names that I didn't recognize. Of course, that doesn't mean anything anymore, as big as we have gotten, Gary.
Amen to that.
So, well, the majority of folks are here that either have been with us or they are just getting started. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Gary.
All right. Well, there, Jim, welcome. So we have a couple guests. So tonight we're going to give you a little background first. But before we get started, I want to ask a series of questions. And this is for the new people. So, new people, how many of you have done an opportunity of any kind before? Give me a 1 for the new people. If you've ever tried to do some kind of opportunity to make extra income, online, offline. Okay. And for those of you that have tried that, how many of you have made $500 or more? Give me a 1 or a 2 if you have never made 500 or more. Okay, both of you made over 500. So we're going to expand a little deeper into that. So how many times have you put a bunch of people in? They were with you 3 or 4 months, and then they kind of fell off the vine at the end and just kind of dried up, it rotted and fell off the vine. Have you ever had that experience for it? Either one of you, new people. We like to call that funnel marketing. That's pouring more people in at the top and fall out the bottom, right? So here's my question. If you could build it one time and never have anybody drop out, how much more productive and easier would it be to build a solid income? Would you find that easier if nobody ever fell out and dropped out and you could build it one time and create a substantial income? Would I have your attention? Give me a 3 if I have your attention. Okay. So we're on the same page, right? So we're going to go ahead and get started, but I wanted to clarify what the weaknesses have been in the past and what we've done to correct those weaknesses and eliminate them. Okay? So I'm gonna, oops, bear with me, guys. I gotta hit my share button. Let's see. And we hit our slideshow from the beginning. All right. So today we want to introduce you to des Alpes. We're in the business of changing lives, folks. Des Alpes, in the business of changing lives. Now, I'm going to make a big statement here. Des Alpes will put more money in people's hands faster than any legit opportunity on the planet. And I want to repeat that because I want it to sink in. Des Alpes will put more money in people's hands faster than any legit opportunity on the planet. So what is des Alpes? It's the brainchild and labor of love of a few close friends whose aim was to help average people, not big hitters, average people, create a substantial life-changing income in a relatively short period of time. So at this point, we do the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. The information I'm going to present is not intended to be financial advice. If you need advice, seek licensed financial advice from a professional. The examples of possible earnings are what happens in the parameters presented under a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world. But your individual earnings are based on individual effort and circumstances that will vary from one individual to the next. So, what do we have? What do we do? Our products. We have extremely high quality products. Excuse me. Affordable costs for purchasing products. Excellent quality price ratio. Possibility of offering your own products. Cash back on each purchase from the community members. So I want to kind of break it down, even though you'll have videos in your back office. We actually simultaneously build 3 compensation plans using the same people. What does that mean? Well, we have what I call the meat and potatoes matrix. We have a mere 2x20 matrix and a unilevel. The first 2x20s are what we call a forced matrix. We'll go into great detail in a couple screens down the road. But what that means is you only have 2 spots. And your 2 spots, under them is 2 spots. So you have 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 in your first 5 levels. In the unilevel, level 1 pays a matching bonus of 50% of whatever people are earning. So if, for an example, if you had somebody on your first level and they're earning $1,000 a month, your matching bonus would be what? 500. That's an example of the 50% match bonus. Level 2 is 20%. So if somebody on your second level is earning 1,000, you get an extra 200, matching that. And levels 3, 4, and 5 are 10%. Okay. The unilevel has videos that describe in high detail in your back office. So we're not going to go into great detail on it. What is important to notice, everyone must make at least 1 monthly purchase at any price. This is not an auto ship. You get to choose whatever you want, any price level, to qualify for all commissions. Okay? All commissions. So we want you to picture that des Alpes is estimated to grow into over 1 million in the first 12 months. That's the goal. Imagine your membership base growing into millions, earning a commission from everyone beneath you in your compensation plan. Okay? For great details, see all the videos again on the site. So let's kind of break it down, folks. I want to give you a perfect example of how this works. I'm going to take a product that we're going to call a natural health product. It sells online for $59.95 plus shipping. That's what it actually sells for. We have a contract for that particular product for $30. In your mall, that product is listed for $50, which includes the shipping to you. Is it cheaper than it is out there? Yes, by a lot. Okay. So how much profit margin if the company is paying $30 for it and we list it in the mall for $50? How much of a profit margin are we talking about? Come on, guys. $20, right? $20. So that $20 profit's divided into two parts. $10 is going to go into a 2x20, right? If you do the math, that's 50 cents per level, right? Excuse me. So everybody that purchases, if we just use this particular example, everybody, if you have say 1,000 people, right? You could do the math. 50 cents per level, right? Doesn't sound like much, but it'll add up quick. But the other $10 goes into 5 generations, 50% of their pay, 20%, 10, 10, and 10, right? Now, also, and you this will for you new people, this will come up a little Greek because we haven't got into the meat and potato compensation plan. So we're going to break it down. When somebody comes in, they spend $120. 100 goes into the compensation plan. $20 is what we call Alps points or Alps cash. That goes directly into the 2x20, into the mall income. Okay? That cash will make every average of sale to be $350 and up per person. That's in your downline, folks. I want to give you a comparison what that means. If you have 1,000 people and you're averaging between $350 to $5 per person paid monthly, right? How much is your minimum off of your mall income when it's live? How many mathematicians we have, folks? Come on now. There we go. Minimum is 3,500. But it's going to likely average closer to $5 as we go along. Right? There we go. The reason as people go through their upgrades, it puts $30, $40, and $50 into the 2x20 matrix. Okay? Now, The meat and potatoes has its own separate income. Thank you, Gina. The meat and potatoes will have its own separate income. The mall income is only one of three incomes. What do we have? We have meat and potatoes, which we haven't done yet. We also have the mere 2x20, and we have the unilevel. Three incomes based off of three separate matrices, all from the same individual, same people. These are Diane, this is tiers, not direct sponsored. Okay. Now, let's go a little deeper into it, okay? When you come in, there's three potential things that happen. Everybody that joins hasn't sponsored anybody yet. They can come in as a customer, which customers will pay $20 a month and $9 for the back office, so $29. They receive only the Alps points and the 50% cash back on 10 levels. 10 levels only. They're only a customer at this point. Okay? So what does that mean? So the cash back that they're accumulating means they can accumulate up to $1,000 a month or even more if there's enough people beneath them to create all the shopping in the world. Or they can actually technically do an upgrade to the 6 through 10, which we haven't covered yet. And I will cover that in one of the upcoming slides. So the next step is a VIP customer. What a VIP customer means is this is a person that came in, paid the $120, right? They paid $120 and they paid the $9 for their back office. They received $50 in online store credit for the two people that reached their first level due to an overflow or spillover. The other 50 will go back to the sponsor who created the overflow. Okay? Now, I know that sounds complicated. It's really not. Okay? Now, once this VIP customer sponsors their first person, they become an ambassador. Okay? Then everything changes. And we're going to cover that in the upcoming slide. Okay? So, VIP customer, you come in as a customer, and if somebody's only interested in shopping and saving a great deal of money and basically shopping for free, that's how they come in. VIP comes in with as the 120, pays $9 for the back office, and their sole goal is to bring in that first and second person to become an ambassador. Okay? So, next slide. Part 2 to the 3 scenarios. Customers can only get paid on 10 levels in cash. Okay? The money that they make can allow them to do an upgrade to the 6 through 10 where they get an actual $100 per member. Now, a couple things happen, folks. In this scenario, let's say they have people falling into 6 through 10. They haven't upgraded yet. Maybe they only got 800 or 900 sitting in there. They have to wait till they get 1100. The company does not use slippage. It banks that money in a reserve bank until you actually do the upgrade. You don't lose any money. It's there waiting on you. Folks, how different is that? All right. That is so different from all the other companies out there. VIPs and ambassadors only get paid on 12 levels in cash back. Okay? 12 levels. Now, here's how it works. When an ambassador upgrades to the $200 level, they go to 14 levels. When they upgrade to level 3, 16 levels in cash back. When they upgrade to level 4, 18 levels. And level 5, paid up to 20 levels in cash back. So, key points, guys. We have a one-time $129 out of pocket that can earn you an amazing monthly long-term income. No auto ship. Monthlies and upgrades are optional. Okay? No one drops out of this deal. And we're going to show you why in just a minute. How do you pay? Credit or debit card. Okay? Or in countries where you can't use a credit or debit card, USDC will be accepted. Global daily pay by direct deposit, USDC or debit card, which is coming soon. You must be 18 years or older and know your customer will be done. What do I mean by that? Well, it means you can't stack EINs and LLCs that you have, that you own, have any ownership in underneath you. You can only take one position. Personally, one position. Screenshots of earnings are considered enticement and they're not allowed, folks. But just sticking with this deal and following our lead, we'll see your income increase almost automatically over time. All right. Anybody ready for meat and potatoes? Give me a 1 if you want the meat and potatoes. Come on now.
Oh, there's some ones coming now.
There we go. Excuse me. So, when we come in, we all come in the same way. We pay our $129, $120 plus our $9 back office. And currently, there's a special going on until the 15th that you could pay for the whole year the $9 for $45. Okay? And notice you have your $10 Alps points in there that goes into the mall. So we have a 2x20 forced matrix. For those of you who have never done a forced matrix, it means you only have 2 spots. That's it, 2 spots. So my job is to go find 2 people, help them. I bring my 2 people in. In my case, I brought in Robert and I brought Bob in. And as soon as I did that, the company paid me $200, folks. Now, here's my question for new people. Is $200 more than $129? Okay. Technically speaking, am I at least break even or more? I'm not reaching in my pocket, right? I don't need my credit card in there. They're not going to take any money out of my pocket every month, right? Will I ever quit? No. Nobody's going to drop out, right? So my job changed. Now my job is to take the 2 people and help them get their 2 people, which is 4. Now, this has an upgrade to level 2. It's $200 is the upgrade. Well, I've got $200 over here. See? So I'm not reaching in my pocket. I'm at break even, right? But I'm not break even anymore because once I help the 2 get their 2, they're going to pay me $600 more. $600 more, right? Am I doing okay? So the job changed. We're going to take and help the 4 people get their 2 people, 8 people. The upgrade is $330. 20 of that is going to go into the mall points, right? But now they just put $1,400 more in my bank, right? 1,400 more. Now, if I took, folks, add all this up, 330, that's 536, call it 660. I'm pretty close to at least $800 of profit coming in. That's more than most people ever make, right? Right? I'm approaching the $800 level. I hadn't even blinked. I've just gotten started. Right? So now the job changed again. We're going to help the 16 people get their what? Their 2 people. Right? So at this point, the upgrade we spent was $440. Right? 30 people, $3,000. And we're starting to make a little bit of money now, guys. Is the light bulb coming on? Give me a 4 if that light bulb's coming on. So,
Danny gave you a 3.9.
thank you, Dave. Now, folks, this is where it gets serious. Because we're entering into our 5th level. We're going to help the 16 get their 2, which is 32 people. Our upgrade is $550. Right? $50 is going to go into our mall money. Okay? But now we have a total of 62 people. 6,200 more. When we add our gross up, we're at 11,400. Now, gross. But we have all these expenses, right? When we add our expenses up, $1,649, we net monthly income, $9,751 a month net. Folks, I don't know about you. Will $9,751 change your life for the better? Give me a 5 if you think that will change your life. There we go.
Gina said a 10.
I see that. I see that.
That's 2 5s.
That's 2 5s. So guys, let's cover what's going to happen here a little bit. We won't go deep into it. We have 2 other upgrades. One is $1,100 annually. Folks, if you're making $9,751 a month, you're not going to struggle paying that once a year, right? And what that means is for everybody that falls in your 6 through 10, paid daily, once a year, okay? $100 per person. Now, if you filled up and done it our way of helping people, and you filled your first 5 up, and you want to sponsor again, they're worth $5,300 monthly to you, not $100 a year. Okay? But don't do it until you've helped your team and you have your first 5 levels full. Okay? The other levels, 11 through 20, is only a lifetime. You only get paid that one time. Lifetime, $100 per person. It's too many people for you to do the math on anyway. Don't even sweat it. Those numbers take care of themselves. Okay? They take care of themselves. So let's kind of move on. Now, I want you to write the following numbers down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And across from that, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. And off to the side, I want you to write the number of 62 and circle it. These are the important numbers you want to remember. Okay? So now we're going to make this picture come clear for everyone. So if you look at the maths, 62 times 100 doesn't equal 11,400, does it? Creates a little confusion. If you agree with that, give me a 2. Let's break it down how the numbers actually work. Because I can do the math. 62 people times 100 is only 6,200. That's not 11,400, is it? So I brought in 2 people, Robert and Bob. Now, Robert and Bob are each going to upgrade 5 times. Right? So when they came in and paid their 120, that's their first upgrade. When they pay the 200 and upgrade on their second level, right? That's the second upgrade. When they upgrade on their third level, that's their third, and so on. So Bob and Robert will pay me 5 times. And every time they upgrade, it pays me $100, right? The people on their second level, their first 2 people each, 4 people, will pay me $100 4 times 4. Now, people say to me, Gary, well, why do they only pay 4 times? Because their 5th level is my 6th level, which is a different compensation plan, different part of the compensation plan. Doesn't count in my first 5 levels. So the 4th level pays me twice, the 5th level 1 time, because their 2 is on my 6th level. All right. So when we do the math, 2 times 5 times 100 is $1,000 a month. That's what Bob and Robert are worth to me, $1,000 a month. Okay, they're 2 people. each, 4 people, are worth 1,600. My third level, 2,400 a month. My fourth level, 3,200 a month. And my fifth level, 3,200 a month. So when we look at the numbers and we add them all together, 11,400. We look at the expenditures, 129, 200, 330, 440, 550 equals 1,649. Subtract the 1,649, you get what? $9,751. There's the number again. And you want to set aside any additional upgrades like 1,100 or the 2,100 coming out of your profits. Now, at this point, Bob and I generally tell you the story that's going to happen no matter what we say. Somebody's going to come along and see $5,000 or so in their back office that's never made 500. Folks, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to pull the money out and have a good time. Right? They're going to pull the money out, go to Vegas or someplace, have a good time, come back broke. Right? They're going to miss a month's commission. Now, Bob's way of doing it is to pull 3,000 out, have a good time, and leave 2,000 in for your expenses. Amen. That's the right way to do it if you need to do it. Okay? Don't miss out on your commissions because you got silly. Okay? Put it on automatic and leave it there. Yeah, they're going to think they won the lottery. So, congratulations. You've now turned $129 out of pocket into an initial purchase you could count on. Okay? It's important to remember all your monthly expenses become your new upgrades, become your new monthly expenses. Need to leave enough to cover that expenses each month. You may want to leave additional funds to do upgrades such as 1,100 or the 2,100 one time. Okay? Now, we want to talk about the debit card for a second because they've already done the contracts, it's coming. You'll be able to get every purchase 1.5% cash back. So I want to give you a scenario, particularly for those of us that live in the US. If Bob and I were to take 20 grand out and do a direct deposit to our bank, what do you think is going to happen? IRS. Okay? IRS. Do you think that I want the IRS paying attention to me? I don't mind paying my taxes, guys. We don't mind paying. You got to pay your taxes. But you also don't want to be harassed by the IRS and looking into your bank real close either. Okay? So let me give you a different scenario when the card comes out. Now, the card is going to have somewhere around probably a 50K limit at any one time. So let's say we load 20 grand onto the card and pay all our bills with the card. Are you not making 1.5% interest on the money that you made versus spending that in transaction fees? Anybody see the big picture here? how does it feel to make interest on the money that you've made? Plus, it puts off the IRS until the end of the year, folks. It allows you to structure whatever structure you need to decrease your taxes as greatly as you can. Not avoid them, but you can structure things the way you need to structure them. All right, time to start your business, folks. New people, contact the person that told you about this call. Okay? Contact the people that told you about the call, so they'll get you a link to register. We're here to help each other to succeed. Alone we go faster, but together we go farther. The great Nelson Mandela. Our strength is in the community, folks. So, any Q&A? At this point, we will do Q&A.
Yeah, and the Q&A needs to be specific to what you just heard and saw, please. Especially the new folks. And some of the folks that have just started with us as well probably have not seen this style that we're doing now, and understand that the reason for these changes, number one, is to make sure that we are compliant, not in just a few countries, but in 160 plus countries, which benefits each and every one of you all. So I know there's got to be some questions. Don't be shy. Don't be bashful. The only question that is not a smart question is the one that you don't ask. So that's what we're here for. To answer questions. Boy, you did a heck of a job explaining all that. Towards the beginning, Gary mentioned shopping. Shopping where and how? That's a great question, Gary.
The shopping mall is being built as currently as we speak, Kim. Approximately 240 products initially, plus some digital products. For the people that are in, say, countries that don't have the mall available for shipping there yet, they qualify with a digital product versus a physical product. And again, it will still qualify them for their commissions based on the examples that we gave. I want to give you a perfect example. The average, when the mall kicks off, the average income would be closer to $5 per person in your group. An example of a product will be high-end clothing, nutraceuticals, probably some pet items, travel. They're going to do motel. Eventually, you're going to see 250,000 products or more in the mall.
What you all want to think about, if you want.
No, it's not a brick and mortar mall. It's like
No.
Amazon style.
Yeah, no, this is third party contract to des Alpes themselves, and it's on a platform of its own that we have access to, that'll be integrated into our back office because it's tied into the compensation plan, right? So what you want to think about is, if you were to take, say, Shopify, and you were to take eBay, and you were to take Amazon and a couple of the other ones that are in e-commerce, that are online, and take the best parts of those, that's what you're going to be able to see, because that's exactly how they're building this. The company has an administrator, what I call the director of malls, and that administrator was very clear, telling us that they decided to go with a company that can drop ship into all the countries that we're going to need in a very short amount of time as it gets set up. The mall will not be available to all countries that we serve in the very beginning, but we will rapidly expand that. But they're talking about being able to ship anywhere in the world within 3 to 7, possibly 10 days.
Let me answer a couple questions here.
You need to go back
start with
to you need to
James.
go back to the one where the question was. Just a second.
I think James
How
is
Diane's question was first.
okay.
How on the how we earn slide, can you explain the fourth column of info? Recurring monthly is the header.
Let me go back to that slide. Is this the correct one?
Yes. Looks like it. So could you explain the fourth column of info? Maybe that's not the right one.
It would probably be this one. Oh, okay.
Hey, Gary, on the very bottom of that slide,
Yes.
is there information being covered up? Because I don't think that it's showing everything.
Let me see. Okay. This is reoccurring. These expenses are reoccurring, Diane, every month, but they're coming out of profits. Okay. So they're regenerating every 30 days. Okay. So we're basically what we're doing here is recycling this amount, this amount, this amount, this amount, this amount every 30 days. And what it does is it generates 11,400 gross minus these expenses. So it creates this is where you're getting a true residual income net of 97.51. This is what it's creating. Okay.
For you new folks, there's an analogy that we've used for 4 months now. So a lot of you that are new and haven't seen this or heard this, the analogy to make it simple to understand is in business, you have expenses to pay. Bottom line, I don't care what kind of business you're running. In order for you to expect income to come in, you're going to sell a product or a service that generates an income, but you will have expenses nonetheless to run that business. You'll have the expense of, if you were the one that was buying the product and then you are getting that product out the door, you'll have expenses. Okay. If you have a brick and mortar location, you have expenses. You've got rent, you've got utilities, you've got all kinds of things. So you have expenses. So when we say upgrades, those are actually expenses. And those are expenses for you to be able to move up from one level to the next level, to level 3, level 4, then level 5. And then obviously they accumulate, right? And so what you need to write down is your goal is 2 things. Your first 2 personals only that are paid in, and then 62 in your total matrix. And how fast you get there is however fast you get there. And we do that on training, so we're not going to cover that here. Okay, but at the end of the day, you have to decide what your goals are. Are you here because you just want to make a couple $100 a month? Well, you can do that. Okay, so again, each level has its own expenses. So if you look at level 2, you see that it's 600, and that's gross income. If you go back and add the expenses, 129 and 200, that comes out of the 600, and that's your net pre-tax income every month, and so on and so forth as you go up. So if you look at this from the perspective of, I want to build a monthly income that can retire my wife, that can retire me, that can give us the opportunity to do the things that we're not doing right now because the job just doesn't get you there. Right. So you're talking about building your personal matrix to 62 people, and that gives you 11,400 a month, and then minus your expenses of 1,700. And you saw earlier Amy Carpenter put an example in there to reserve, and we're talking about reserving your expenses right out the gate. And Gary gave you the story behind that. So and that becomes a mindset thing. And that's again for training. We're not going to go deep into that, but you're going to want to reserve your expenses, meaning that you are not forced. We cannot coerce you. We cannot compel you. We cannot tell you or make you do anything. Okay. That's why the disclaimer is there. Okay. We will never tell you that you're going to earn $10,000 a month, much less 204,800 that you see on that slide. Okay. And that's only going to be able to be done based on circumstances that we cannot guarantee that you will follow. So we have to disclaim that. But at the end of the day, if you follow the training that we're doing, and we're going to prove this here in just a minute, that you have the opportunity to not only be at level 1, but to progress yourself and your team with you to level 2, 3, 4, then 5. And that is the goal for everybody. So when I say that's the goal for everybody, I will get to a couple of things, but let's get back to the questions here because we want to do that. So next question, James says, how will you be able to load your profits minus fees on the card? Will it be loaded automatically if you set it up that way?
No,
If you can you set it up that way or
no,
manually?
manually only. The reason you can't set up automatically is because you have to determine how much to pull out or not pull out. You already have your expenses set up on automatic, right? So you can't, there's no way to automate loading the card. It would have to be done manually. I can't see any other way for that.
But your card, you will be able to divert your spendable income from your wallet, not from to the card, but once the card becomes available, instead of it going into the wallet, you will want to load that card up to its max.
Absolutely.
And we're not going to go into that either here. That's for training purposes only. Donald says, I need a new wardrobe. I agree. I need one too. I signed up, paid the $55. How do I qualify for products? I didn't sign anyone up yet.
All right, Dwayne, this is how that would work. You would be qualified for 10 levels only, because you would be considered a VIP customer, basically. You paid your back office. What you haven't paid is the 120 yet. When you pay the 120, you go from a customer status to a VIP customer. I'm going to assume that's where you want to go. And you would be paid on your first 10 levels in a mere 2x20. Okay? Until you sign up your first person and qualify as an ambassador.
Does that clear it up for you, Dwayne? Does Alps officially launched? No. We are in a pre-launch, also known as a leaders launch right now. And so to be inside the pre-launch leaders launch, I don't know, some of you that are talking about that you don't have anybody yet. I'm not sure who you're connected to, but you want to go back to whomever invited you, especially that you're paid in. That means you got a link from somebody. Go back to that person that gave you that link and discuss with them and your team leader your situation, because in order to be in the leaders launch, you're supposed to have brought 2 people with you when you came. that was a qualification. Okay.
Brian, just get back with whoever invited you, and we'll get a link to you, I guarantee you.
Yeah, Brian, that's what you want to do. Anybody else got a question before we qualify a couple of things? So, especially for new people. So you're signing up people to become shoppers, essentially, in addition to having them attempt to bring in other shoppers. Well, okay. You can put it that way, Kim. See, here's the deal. We in the United States are not, we do not have to lead with the product. Okay. The reason we're leading with the product, which is the mall, once the mall becomes available, that is the product, because that makes you a customer. Why? Because you have to make a purchase every month. So you are a customer by default, even though you may be already an ambassador if you've been with us for any length of time. Okay. So you are going to be a customer first, and then your first two people are your customers. And that also satisfies the 51% rule. 51% rule by SEC laws is that 51% of your total number of folks in your organization have to be customers first. And you are. Okay. You will be a customer first. To attract other shoppers part, yes. You know, because if you look at it from the e-commerce perspective, Amazon and eBay and Shopify, these are huge companies. Huge companies. They make billions of dollars a year now. Amazon has been around for 30 years. They started with one product. Okay, we're not starting with one product. We're starting with over 200. And if you remember part of the first slides, folks that are within our group in des Alpes, well, actually, no matter where you are in des Alpes, it appears that you're going to have the opportunity to present your own products and or possible services like travel to be looked at, to be added to the mall. Folks, that is an insane. That is absolutely insane. Go try to do that with Amazon and see the hoops you got to jump through, or Shopify. It's not impossible, but I can tell you there's a whole lot of hoops to jump through. All right. Now, there's going to be hoops to jump through here because you have to go through a process like anybody else. But typically in a business like this, you're not offered that opportunity. And absolutely, I have people that are in my organization that have their own businesses where they, as an example, Marianne and her daughter have a candle company and I think a perfume company. They will be able to go and be interviewed by the admin of the mall, director of the mall, and be able to present their products and see if they can't negotiate a deal for them to be in there. Now, can you just imagine that for a second? But yes, we're starting out with over 200 different products. All right, Gina, can family members be your first two members? No. Nope. Not in your first 5 levels. They can be your first. My wife is. They can be in your business. My whole family is. Okay. So the two family members, what you want to do now, this is, again, we're not supposed to take the time here because it's training and also strategy. But Gina poses a good question and a point. Okay. So yes, my wife is on my first level, left leg. Amy Carpenter, who is in here, who's been with me for 8 years and my number one leader in different organizations for the last 8 years, she's on my first level right leg. That satisfies that part. Okay. Now, could I put a family member under my wife on my second level, her first level? No, not in the first 5 levels that you are building. You have to keep separation. Okay. And separation is very simple. Separation is a builder over the top and or a builder underneath. That is separation that makes it not just legal and compliant with the company, but also ethical, right? And there's some strategy. Gary's strategy is that his wife is down a couple of levels, and she has builders over the top of her and underneath her. Mary Alimo, I have someone who doesn't have anyone yet. I don't have a link to give them. I go to a leader or must be patient. Mary Alimo, you have someone who doesn't have anyone yet. Well, anyone that's coming in there with you, okay, that you have someone that doesn't have anyone means that they're not supposed to be in the leaders launch, Mary. So you need to get back with your leader and discuss that. Okay, that makes more clear to me. I'm not a numbers person at all. Yeah, I get it, Kim. Trust me when I tell you, I'm not a fan of how we're presenting it, just to be honest with you. And it's nothing against the company at all. Nothing against the company, okay, because they are the ones that make the decisions on how we have to do things, right? Because we have to be compliant. And part of compliance is that we have to show the product in the mall first. And so you're going to show the compensation plans, you might as well show them. And so it's kind of, I call it bass backwards, right, from the way we're doing it. But just remember, the meat and potatoes is the number one thing that you're building, okay? The fact that you have a mall and you have a compensation plan from the mall, and the fact that you're going to have a debit card and you have a rewards program with cash back for the debit cards, that is just extra income to me, and extra income for you, okay? Because everything flows from the fact that you are an ambassador first and foremost. And I'm going to show you something. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, let me show you what I mean by that. So there's 70 people here today. Thank you for taking the time out of your coming and goings and holiday season. And I want you to show everybody a very important thing right here. Okay, in order to be an ambassador, you would have paid in, okay, which you've paid for your back office, but you also have at least 2 people that are paid in. Give me a 1 if you have at least 2 people that are paid in. Now you're in profit on day 1. When we launch to the world, even if you only have 1 level with 2 people, you are in profit. You are absolutely in profit. Okay, if you have more than 1 level, let's just go like this way. If you've got 2 levels, give me a 2. If you already have 2 levels built, give me a 2. I want you all to see this, ladies and gentlemen, and then I'm going to really qualify this with some numbers that are going to blow your mind. If you've got 3 levels full, give me a 3. If you've got your 3rd level full, okay, which means they're all ambassadors, level 1, level 2, and level 3. Okay, that's the bottom of your matrix, level 3. So you're going to have some people at level 3 that aren't ambassadors yet, but they're going to have to be if they're part of what? Of the pre-launch. They do not come in to the pre-launch unless they bring 2 with them. Okay, and I'm going to qualify that and in the transition from pre-launch to public in just a second. All right. Yeah, Amy, where were we going to get to you? If you've got 4 levels full, give us a 4. I want you all to see this, folks. I want you all to see this because we have a very small percentage of people here. But look at how many people already have their 1st and 2nd levels full. So we can tell you that out of the 70 people here right now, 90% of the 70 people that are on this call right now are already qualified for the entire compensation plan and are already in profit. Give me a 10 if that is the most exciting thing you've ever heard of in your life. Give me a 10. We're not talking about the mall. We're not talking about the mall compensation plan. We're not talking about the debit card. We're talking about the meat and potatoes, levels 1 through 5. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10 everybody that's here practically are ambassadors already. So don't let the customer or the VIP customer confuse what you already are, because you all are ambassadors. The fact that customers and VIP customers are going to come into play are because when we go to public, you're going to have a transition period. So you're going to have, because we're not stopping. You know, we thought about stopping, and when we knew that we were within a day or two of the public launch, we would stop. Then you all would have what we'd call a virtual holding tank, and you hold these people over here because they either don't have anybody with them or they're at the bottom of your matrix, right? That's going to happen. The bottom of your matrix is always going to be the bottom of your personal matrix that you have to do what? That you have to keep your eye on. And then you will go to, again, helping them. Okay. And part of training, you gotta forget and get away from this mentality of singularism. Singularism. What does that mean, Bob? That means that I think in my mind that I have to be the one that brings everybody in to help them build. No. You got to remember, what did we say? In order to be in the pre-launch, everybody in this part of the launch has had to have brought a minimum of 2 people. That's the magic number. We embrace the 2. We don't, so the 2.8 is the most negative connotation next to spillover, which we don't talk about either because we didn't use it and we will not care about it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you can't get 2 people to come for our training that we do on Saturdays and then to come to these Zooms and to see the value of being with us at this, you're in the wrong business. I'm just going to tell you straightforward. If you cannot get 2 people into this business with us and our training that we provide and the teaching that we do on how we are building this, because I'm going to show you something, then you are in the wrong business. I hate to tell you this, but we're not for everybody. All right. Now, we know how many people. So first of all, understand this. In the typical network marketing company, you do not get paid first. We get paid first. In a typical network marketing company, you are making a payment every month to the owner, building his dream or her dream, not your dream. That's not this. We get paid every day, and you pay into this one time. And then, as Gary has said before, you throw that credit card away. You can literally take that credit card and say, it's out of here, and throw it outside of your office to never use it again, because they will never take another dime from you, and you cannot use it if you throw your button on manual as an example and don't reserve your expenses or let them come out automatically. Sorry, you don't get to come back in. And even if you had $10,000 sitting in the same credit card and say, well, I'm going to pay it back in. Nope, ain't going to happen. You're just going to have to start over. You get compressed out of the compensation plan for that day, and somebody else gets brought up, and that person above you gets paid as they should. So don't do it. That magic number, 2. Again, the magic numbers, write these down. 2. You have to bring 2. 62. 62 in your personal matrix, with everybody having at least one personal. We teach you 2. That's why the number 2. Then you are qualified all the way to level 5, and you're also qualified for all the rest of the compensation plan. Reserve $5,000. Write that down. These are bullet points. Reserve $5,000. Why? Because now your $1,700 is there for your monthly. Got to keep that engine running, right? Your $1,700 there that monthly. The rest of that is going to cover your once a year upgrade and your once a lifetime upgrade, and then you're done. And then you just leave $2,000 in there just as a round number, and you never touch that $2,000. You never touch that $2,000. And guess what? That $2,000 every month. Tell somebody tell me what that $2,000, because it's an expense every month. What does that mean for you at the end of the year? Tell me, somebody shout it out loud.
Right off.
It's a tax deduction. Folks, I'm going to tell you something real quickly. I teach all this. I teach you. How many people? Give me a 1 if you want to learn how to become debt-free within a couple of years after we launch. If you want to learn how to become debt-free, I'm talking about debt-free. No mortgage payment, no rent payment, no, yes, you're going to have utilities. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about your hard costs. No car payment, no house payment, no credit card payments, unless you learn how to use your credit cards to do what? Use other people's money. I teach that. Yes, we do. We teach things that nobody teaches, but that's for another time, and that's on Saturdays. Okay? So, of course, you want to become debt-free. My wife and I are debt-free. We retired debt-free. I retired. Look, you have to have a plan. In order to run a business, you don't know how to run a business until what? You don't know how to run a business. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody give me the answer. You don't know how to run a business, no matter what that is, until what? Until what? Pretty easy answer. Until you learn. Of course, Gina, you got to have a plan. That goes without saying. But everybody thinks that they know how to run a business. And then when they don't make any money, they blame it on what? They blame it on their sponsor. They blame it on the company. No. Now, yes, if your sponsor goes MIA, well, they're not helping you. But if you don't have a mentor in your life, you don't plug in and get into the training that we provide for our team, you're not going to be successful. I'm just going to tell you. You have to plug in. You have to get in. And when you get in, you get all in. You have to plug in. And when you plug in, you got to plug in all in, because you're that serious about your family and you wanting to provide something so special for them, that I've told my wife for 20 years that I would bring her the world. I would bring my family the world if it was in my power, and it is within my power, and I'm going to prove it to you. How am I going to prove it to you? Generational wealth, ladies and gentlemen. So the first part of my proof to you is I just told you my wife is in the business. So now that doubles our income. Just simple math. You can do the numbers. My daughter is a couple of levels down. My daughter is already way past 62. My son is a couple of levels down. My son is already past 70 ambassadors under him. This is called developing, not stabilizing an income. We don't need our income stabilized. We are debt free. We have a big plan now to phase 2 of our lives as a family and business partners, and that is in motion. We're talking about generational wealth. Generational wealth. Okay? Give me a 5 if you want to learn how to create generational wealth. Give me a 5. You better want generational wealth, but you got to stabilize your income, and you've got to develop a plan to become debt free, and then you can learn how to create generational wealth. Those are the steps. Okay. All right. We're coming up on an hour and a half, and we're trying to keep this tightened down. And so what I'm going to say to you all is you need to plug in to everything, and you need to take this as serious as you think that you need to breathe. And I'm going to tell you all something. I've got people on here that work a full-time job, more than a full-time job. I got people on here who are still working overtime. I got people on here that volunteer their services to ministries on top of that, and then have their family. And these people have been with me and done exactly as we've taught them to do. And these same people have what? They all are past 62 in their personal matrix. So I will not take anybody's excuse that they can't get somebody to join them. No, ma'am. No, sir. I will not. And I know I may sound like I'm harsh and I'm an ass and I'm this and I'm that. Doesn't matter. Because the only thing serious to me is the fact that God compels me to do what I'm doing. And he compels me to do what I told my wife and my family for the last 20 years that I was going to do. And I'm doing it because I'm going to tell you something. This company has 8,000 people. You can write that down right now. This company has 8,000 people at this moment. Gary and I have 5,000 of the 8,000. That's correct. Give me a 10 if you understand what I just told you. Give me a 10 if you understand what I just told you. The company, the whole company, only has 8,000 ambassadors. Gary and I have 5,000 ambassadors. You all have to understand the significance of this. That kind of tells you that the 50 years of experience that Gary and I have accumulated, we kind of know what we're doing. We kind of know what we're doing. And we are not telling you this to impress you. Oh, I darn sure want to impress upon you the fact that we are the single largest team in the whole freaking company, and we will continue to be that. There's no stopping what we have going. There's no stopping it. And the only thing stopping any of this is you. Is you all. I'm going to just tell you straight up. You have to decide how serious that you want. If you're in this thing just to make a couple of $100 a month extra because that's all you need extra, I get it. God bless you. You're going to shop, and I'm going to get paid. That's correct. Because out of the 5,000 that Gary and I have 4,000. That's correct. And you got to understand something with Gary and I. Gary and I have been knowing each other for a long time. We've been working together off and on for a long time. And you got to know that Gary and I's reach is 50 years of reach, but we only brought in about 20 people between the two of us, which were leaders. Okay, we put these leaders specifically where they needed to be, and we developed the concept on how we were going to build this 2x2 to help the masses of people first, not last. And this is why you see all these people that are already ambassadors, which means they're already in profit on day one. Give me a 2 if you follow where I'm going with all of this, and this now makes sense to you. Give me a 2 if what we're doing, how we're building it, the fact that we are the #1 team in the whole company makes sense to you. Give me a 2. If you don't understand it, then give me a 1, and we need to explain something for you. That's what we're here for. But I will tell you that there's this thing called the 80-20 rule, that 80% of the people are not going to do anything, but the 20% that do are the ones that make the money. Well, that is true and typical to normal network marketing MLM companies. You know, what did I tell you before? In a normal network marketing company existing around you today, you pay them first and you pay them every month. You wait until sometime later in the month to get a commission if you earned one. That is not us. We're going to pay you every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every day. You paid one time and you're done. That's it. You don't need 2,500 people under you to make 10,000 a month like some companies. You don't need 100 people across a personals to make 2,500 to make $10,000 a month. No, you do not. 2 and 62. if you can remember these bullet points, 129 and you'll never leave, 2 and 62 are going to build your foundation, and that 62 people will go directly with you into the mall and on, and then everything else will take care of itself. Everything else will take care of itself. Gary, you got anything left?
Oh man, after that, wow. If they don't, if it, hey, everybody reach down and grab their left arm across their wrist. Make sure you have a pulse.
I got one. I got it.
Okay. Because if you're not excited at this point, I don't know what is ever going to excite you. But let's end it right there. Have a great day. Let's bring 10 people each to the next call. When's the next call?
Thursday night.
Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thursday
Have a
night.
great day.
Get back to the person that brought you. Get back to the person that brought you. Make sure that you're connected, that you don't know the people above you or below you. Shame on you. Just going to tell you, shame on you. You have to know them. You have to. This is belly to belly how we built this. We built this without a website. We built this without a link until now. We've built this without any paid advertising. We've been doing this for 4 months, and Gary and I started with 2, and now we have the single largest team in the world and in 40 plus countries at the same time. And all the people on this call are already qualified and making profit on day one.
And we still only have 2.
And we still only had 2. Yes, Beverly Moore. Happy New Year's coming up. So happy New Year to everybody, because the new year is going to be the next best 4 years of our lives here in the United States, hopefully around the world as well. But get back to the person that invited you. Get back to the leaders, for those of you that are with us, to make sure that you're plugged in to everything that we are doing that is critical to your success. I cannot emphasize that any higher. But understand this. You have to decide if you are worthy of the blessing that this business model is giving Gary, myself, and all of the leaders that we've got here that you see on this call right now, because we know that we're worthy. They know that they're worthy. That means they know that their family is worthy, that you are worthy, that your family is worthy. Then you understand what you're going to do to build something so special, that what we're doing is being able to then turn around and lift up those that have been scorched to the earth, that have been left alone, and get them into the training, get them into the business with you, and love on them. And you will see the difference between this and what everything else is not, and why those numbers crucify the majority of people in the past and still do to this day, but only help who? The owners. That is not this. All right. God loves each and every one of you. So do Gary and I. We will see you all at the top. Bye-bye, and see you next year.